thus revamping school education through skills and vocational education. So may I call upon stage once again Mr. Vivek Agarwal, CEO Liquid, Madam Yubina Y. Dalal, Head Operations Station E Info Services, Dr. Jesse Abraham, Associate Professor, Department of Teachers and Non-Formal Education, IASC Jamia Millia Islamia, Dr. Neelam Gulati Sharma, Additional Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology. Now may I request Dr. Jesse Abraham, Associate Professor, Department of Teachers and Non-Formal Education, Jamia Millia Islamia, to present her speech. It is a kind request to all of you to please maintain silence because the speakers are trying to get their speech. We all know we are running short of time, but it is really, it would be very kind on your part to please have some patience and listen to the speech because they have come all the way from different parts of the country to only speak to you. So it's good, it would be kind on your part to please bear with all of us.
Good evening, everybody. I am very happy to be here in this education summit addressing the teachers of state of Punjab, which is a very important state of the country, and I think I am addressing the teachers for the first time in your state. And as such, I am from Jamia, which actually has a teacher education institution, which is I think started in 1938. For maybe the history of this is known to you. I start with a quotation from Mahatma Gandhi because it is regarding skill. You know, basic education was the major agenda regarding education in the country for Mahatma Gandhi. The brain must be educated through the hand. The brain gets weary of mere words. The child's mind begins to wander. The hand does things it ought not to do. The eyes does things it ought not to see. And they do not do, see or hear, respectively, what they ought to. This actually is was not the problem of the past, but it is a problem today also. We have education which is addressing many cognitive areas, but we are leaving out the most important thing, that is the head, hand and heart together. Are we able to integrate? So that was actually the message behind basic education, and our basic education institution was started for this purpose. I am not going into that details, but I am asking, how many of you have vocational programs in your schools? Do you have vocational programs? Can you put up hands if you have? Only few. I can see that 4 or 5 hands are coming. India's population is very huge one with 1.2 billion. But it's fast expanding also. But we know that we have a population which is very young, but at the same time we are not able to capitalize or make the best out of the situation where if you have earning, educated members in the population, they are assets. But on the contrary, when they are not able to sustain themselves, they have to be fed by government funding with a 2 rupee a kilo of grain, etc., then they are liability. Here, we have to think whether when we are actually when you want to really help somebody, if you give 100 rupees, it is good, or if you help somebody earn 100 rupees, it is good. Which one is better? The skill education is talking about this basically. Here, 2% of the total workforce in India have undergone a skill training only. Very few people are entering the job market with skill training. Ma'am also, Ms. Karim, also was discussing about unemployability, the lacking of skills among the people who pass out of different education institutions. Number of persons getting vocational training for thousands in a graph, which is actually from NSSO report. Though it is dating back to 2004-05, the situations are not that improved even now. Actually, formal vocational training is given to very less dismal amount of people, and the non-formal vocational training is taken by another set of people, which is again very less, 12%. And again, the section which has not received any kind of formal training, vocational training, is the majority. As you all know, education at different levels, when we look at that, the Right to Education Act is covering the lowest level, that is 6 to 14 years, it's compulsory. That is actually the workers with no skill at all. Then we have the skill section coming from the +2 level onwards. And the +2 level, they have the option of entering vocational secondary schools. But then the vocational secondary streams are not popular in India. And then most of the students go in a bandwagon where they enter the higher education, then they go for master's education, then after completing all the education they think about the job. That is what Varun ma'am also was telling. Here you have to think about how can we make the best out of the situations. That is what vocational training can actually help us do. Sorry. The vocational courses are actually offered by the ITIs and ITCs. The government run and private owned polytechnics, and they are not at all popular. Why are they not popular? That is a question which we have to again answer. If you look at the states here, we know that Punjab is also actually having only 8% of the student population covered by the ITCs. It is not well covered. And we have to actually go cover a lot of region to actually attain the goals which the government has set for us in this regard. And then India's current apprenticeship regime, actually it is a highly ambitious program where we also want to follow, like the Germans. We have to have more of apprentice or job training. For that we have actually, it is not something new, Apprenticeship Act 1961 and later 1992 Act. And also now the government has brought out a skills policy in 2009. All these are actually supporting the need for building up the skills of the people, basically the children, the youth. We have vocational courses in the schools. Thanks. Yes.
Yes. We have Madam Parampal Kaur, Additional State Project Director. I would like to request her to chair the session. Ma'am, would you please come up? And it's a kind request to all of you to please be seated. I'm sorry, ma'am, for interrupting you this.
As you know, there are vocational courses in the school. Even Government of Punjab, according to this data, which is actually quite old, but still it is only 4.15. I don't think the number of schools which offer vocational courses have improved. I just now asked, and only 5 hands came off saying that they have vocational courses in the school. Actually, we have to have more vocational schools in with the vocational courses, because we have to reap the benefit of the demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? Because of the fact that we have more young population when compared to others in the field like China and OECD countries, we have more manpower, which actually, to reach our level of people, they have to have another 3-4 decades to wait to reach our level. We have this advantage of having more people. यदि आपके पास बहुत लोग काम करने के लिए है और उनको काम आता भी है तो प्रोडक्शन इम्प्रूव हो सकता है. यदि आता नहीं है तो कोई फायदा नहीं है, इसलिए हमें स्किल ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत है. Skills are nowadays considered as essential as 3 R's for every person. These skills include digital literacy, dancing, caring, the old people, looking after the young children, craftsmanship, everything, etc. These skills could be integrated into the curriculum of the school. And actually, this is not a new idea, which actually was originated from Gandhiji's basic education, but also re-emphasized by the National Curriculum Framework 2005, in which Director Krishna Kumar stated that we have to highlight the need for the epistemology of vocational education afresh from the perspective of bridging the gap between academic and vocational streams. Here, vocational streams are neglected. They are treated stepmotherly. They are given a stepmotherly treatment. Nobody thinks that it is worthwhile to follow any such courses because they don't find any prospect or future for such courses. In such a context, government has actually made many initiatives. Central government, about 20 ministries are involved in these kind of programs. There are many councils which are involved in vocational education. These initiatives are expected to reduce child labor and also reduce dropouts and also facilitate learning process by motivating all the stakeholders, parents, children and the teachers, and also provide for rehabilitation of differently abled, that is the low, socioeconomically low children as well as the SC, ST and marginalized people, and also those who are in the prison, those who are actually in the juvenile homes. All these people will benefit from the vocational education program. This could result in poverty reduction, economic recovery and sustainable sustainable development. Government is actually involved through all these, but and also Khadi village industry and also other the NGOs are also involved. One of the major concerns is mobility. If somebody passes out of this vocational program, will they get admission in higher education if at all they want to? In other countries like UK, in other countries like Germany, they have the system of allowing the children from vocational education also in the higher education, that is for the BA, BSc undergraduate programs. Now we have to also look for measures to help these children, and that way this will help the children to improve their prospects and also for us to have innovation and discretionary learning in workplaces, because somebody who has already entered the workplace has an opportunity to grow because there is a forum for reaching. Actually, engineering has this facility. Some of the places where they have a certificate course, then they have a diploma course, and then you can go for a BTech. These are added on, but not in every field, but there should be such facilities everywhere. And also there are concerns related to the content. Sometimes more of the content is related to the task only. It is like a training or skill-oriented program where the content or the theoretical base which will help us to go for higher education is neglected. Therefore, this also should be taken care of. And also the gap between different agencies involved. In India, we have CBSE, we have National Open School, and other agencies which are involved in training vocationally qualified children. And there should be some kind of a regulatory body which should look into these vocational skills which are given. In many countries like Australia and Germany, as I said earlier, they have forums where the skills offered are monitored and given a certain accreditation also, so that they are of substantial quality and the students also benefit from these. And when you look at the competencies which are offered, they are classified basically into 3 by NCERT, the curriculum framework. They are basic competencies, interpersonal competencies and systemic competencies. What is basic competencies? They are personal attributes which a person should develop. All the children should have sensitivity, aesthetics, critical thinking ability, etc. And also there is a need for interpersonal competency, that is interpersonal communication skills, etc., which are very much important. And also systemic competence, where you have the ability to work as a system and work in collaboration with others, taking the holistic view. And also these are some of the suggestions by NCERT. Skill development for improvement within an occupation. That is, if you are teachers, as you were listening to all these, the digital technology that you are listening, there should be a platform where you are improving that so that your skills are improved. Yes. And also here, communication skill. Many times our students are very capable, but they may talk well in fun, may not be good in interviews, etc. The communication skill, which is very important life skill, should be given as a vocational skill there against as a support system. And here I have mentioned the German vocational apprentice-based program, where all school students are asked to do vocational program or take up jobs during their vacations. In the summer vacations and in the vacations, they are given assigned jobs to take up according to their aptitude, and they are given as credits on the basis of their work done in different areas. So through the schooling, you may say you are against child labor, but this is not child labor, but you are actually learning through work in these kind of situations. After 8th standard onwards, they are given these kind of experiences in other countries. And here also, we have the experience of National Open School, which is offering many programs, and many of those programs are, vocational courses are very popular, but then they are taken up by very few section of students, and about 23,000 students per annum or something, when compared to the lakhs of students who take academic courses. And actually, we are worried about the placement of these children also. They are given off these courses, but then we are not getting enough placements because of the lack of quality of the program offered. And again, paramedical training also is another skill area, which is also not very popular, but we have actually, it is possible for us to make use of them. And these are some of the examples. Maybe in Punjab you can think of many other areas, because you have many industries and agricultural based industries also. So more skill-oriented programs should be thought of, and the schools involve the community and the parents, and develop vocational programs which are suitable for the particular region. Thank you very much.
We might take only one question, if we have any. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Vivek Agarwal. Director General School Education, Shri Karan Singh Pannu, would be joining us shortly. Our next speaker is Mr. Vivek Agarwal. He is the founder and CEO of Liquid. It's a company with the idea for providing
my talk by saying I'm going to talk about a specific element of vocational, which is English learning. I think ma'am referred to it, communication, English and communication skills. So I'm going to divide my talk in 3 parts. One is short, I'll not make it long. One is why English and why communication skills. Second is why start young. And third is, about technology, what we offer. I think you have some interesting ideas. So I'm not going to go about my company. We've done a lot of work in this area, a lot of awards. We have tie-ups with BBC. We have more than 500,000 learners across different age groups that we cater to. Very, very prestigious customers across all segments. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But I think this is my first point. It does not matter what you know, right? Why do I say that? Parveen talked about all these 3,500 career options, right? But even if you're a brilliant scientist or a paleontologist or whatever it is, unless you can talk about what you're doing or write about it, right, you will not get anywhere, right? And I think that's a big problem with our children, with the way they're growing up, right? I think, it's been mentioned in the morning, 20% of our engineers are employable, right? And a large part of those who are not are because of their communication skills, yeah? And it's a very fundamental thing. I think, if people know good English and communication skills and they know less of other stuff, they'll probably do better than if they didn't know English and then did a lot of other stuff. It's not a good thing, but it is extremely, extremely essential for you to be able to communicate effectively, right? Now, different ways of communication. You have non-verbal, all of that. I can raise my hand and say I want to speak. That's also communication. But I'm talking about more substantial communication, English, right? So this is from Lee Iacocca, who was iconic auto executive. He salvaged this company, Chrysler, long back. You can have brilliant ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. If a good, brilliant student is not able to write in an exam or speak in a spoken exam, he's not going to get any marks, right? If all the panelists in the morning who've been here cannot speak well, are not able to speak in whatever language, it's going to be of no use to you at all, right? So therefore, I believe in business, and all students will get into their lives some point in time. I think communication skills is probably the most important skill that you can come across. Right? Now, why English then? I mean, you can communicate. We have heard very good speeches in the morning in Punjabi, and I could speak in Hindi and so many other languages, right? Why English? Because English is the language of business all over the world, right? English is what, if even in our own country, right? If I go down to Chennai, I mean, not Punjab, I think you can manage with Hindi maybe, but if I go down to Chennai or Kerala, the only language I can use is English, right? They don't speak Hindi, and I don't speak Tamil or Malayalam, right? So only way we can communicate is English. It's true in India. I mean, India, it's a unifying business language, right? And it's true around the world. Japanese companies, there's an article in Harvard Business Review that said that Japanese companies are now realizing that one of the reasons they are not able to globalize as much as they should is because they don't know English. And they're mandating English for their internal meetings as well, not just external meetings. And there are several German companies doing that, right? So English is like, it is the language of business around the world, right? And that's why it becomes very important. Just a background on languages. It's not just English. We are the human beings are the only ones who have a language, so to say. 6,000 to 7,000 languages, disappearing fast actually. But anyway, we don't start. So now, before I come to the next slide, I just summarize saying, I think, and it's been proven, there are today 2 billion people who are learning English worldwide. There are probably 500 million people in China that are learning English, right? And I think we are, our traditional software advantage, which is because of English, we may be getting left behind, right? And in that context, all of us here who focus on the school market, I think our responsibility becomes even bigger. Because the language, and not just English, any language, you acquire in your childhood is the foundation, right? There's a very sad story I'll share with you. I'll read this out. At 13, she escaped a terrible ordeal. Her parents had kept her locked in a room since she was a small child. By day, she was tied to a toilet stool, and at night, tied in a sleeping bag. No one spoke to her, and she was not exposed to radio or television. If she made the slightest sound, her father thrashed her with a wooden stick. Now, this girl at 13 was rescued from her parents in 1970s, somewhere in the US, right? Now, obviously, you can't imagine why would any parent do that, but it's actually a fact. It's happened, right? Now, at 13, she had no exposure to the written or the spoken word, right? And for years after that, they tried to make her learn and speak, and she could never properly speak again. Right? So the formative years are what impact the fundamental development. Right? We do training and for adults, for people 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds, and at that stage you can't do much. It's like band-aids. It's not a cure, right? And that's why us, the people in the school market, the school people educating the young, have a special responsibility to make sure the language inputs are provided as early as possible and as well as possible. English, I said, I'll not talk about that. I'll just jump, we don't have time for all this. I'll talk about how we're leveraging technology to actually provide what we call a portable language lab, right? You see that picture on the right. You see what we've done. You've seen a lot of people talking about tablets in the morning, software applications, content, right? What we've done is we've taken all that, and most of it we've developed, and we put it all together in one common solution. Okay, so that it is sort of a how should I say, plug and play type of thing, right? So this is a trolley that houses up to 40 tablets. Those tablets, there is a teacher tablet and there are student tablets. Those tablets are all connected to each other through an application we've developed, a little bit like what you saw in the morning of one of the presenters, that lady spoke very fluently in Punjabi. She a little bit like that, and we have English language learning content that allows the teacher to push exercises to the student tablet. Students, respond. Either they type the text, or they speak their audio, or they speak their voices, and it gets recorded. And then they can submit the answers which the teacher gets back. Right? Students can record their videos. There are video activities. Right? So there's a concept of learning mirror. I don't know about you, but my teacher in school used to tell me to learn to speak English by looking at myself in the mirror. Right, and I remember that helping a lot. It's a learning mirror sort of a pedagogical concept, right? So we found that when you record the videos of students and play it back to them, they really, the self-learning, the self-awareness of the mistakes they're making. Like, I have realized when I see myself recording of myself, I move my hands too much, right? And people may tell me, but I have to see my own recording to really realize and change that. And it has a huge impact, right? This trolley, it's comes with a central power cord, so you can connect it to one sort of a outlet, right? And it will charge all the tablets, right? Before we launched this trolley, some time back last year, we have a software solution that we deploy on local computers. A lot of our schools were telling us that the software wasn't getting used because the power would go out, right? Middle of the class, power goes out, teachers are not able to use the computers, and software is useless. The advantage with tablets is they have, depending on which tablet you buy, they have several hours of backup time, right? So a good tablet would have up to 5-6 hours of backup time. So you can actually take this trolley into the class. You can use it for the entire academic day, and charge it in the evening. So no problem with power, right? And that's a huge thing, right? And it saves a lot of problems for our users, right? Secondly, space, right? A language lab would typically consist of 20, 30, 40 computers, right? Take up 500 or 1,000 square feet of space, right? This one, you've got 40 tablets sitting in about 5 square feet of space, and these tablets can be locked, so it can't go anywhere. Tablets have a cover, so students, if it drops, I think there was a question in the morning, that day I was actually just last week. There was this question, I was responding to that question I heard in the morning about students destroying the tablets, right? You know, I noticed a very nice thing. We were at this school in Sonipat, just between here and Delhi. And we were, running a class for these students. And then we asked the students to sort of get in a group, leave their tablets. And all of them, put their tablets so carefully, right? Even we don't do that. Right? So it's something that they like to do, right? They enjoy doing, and they feel proud. So we've not had too much of a problem of breakage, or even lack of concern, or lack of or neglect by the students at all, right? So this is a very powerful system. It gives teacher full control. If teacher, now clearly the students need to have discipline, they need to follow discipline, and it's our job as teachers to make sure they follow discipline, right? So the teacher has the ability to switch off the tablet of every student. They can't do anything with the tablet, they can't see anything on the tablet, right? If the teacher can tell them, look, you're making too much noise, please look at my tablet or look at the whiteboard, you can do that. Is my time up? Yeah. So you can do that, right? And that as a teacher makes me feel good, because I know that I have the students' attention and I can interact with them on my terms, right? The students, you see, one of the big things about English spoken, what we've seen over and over again in students across the country, is that they know about vocabulary, they know about grammar, but they're not able to speak, right? For the simple reason that they've never had anybody speak to them in good English, or they've never spoken in good English, right? So they don't have the confidence. What this thing does is it forces every student to speak, because they record it in the tablet. And the teacher has a mechanism by which she can see whether there are any students that have not recorded, right? And therefore she's forcing every student to speak. And just by the process of speaking, students develop confidence, right? And when they have confidence, obviously they can do a lot more than they would have done earlier, right? In a typical class, you have 40 students, you would have 3 or 4 students who would speak. Typically, the good students interact with the teacher, they are the ones who get better, right? But here, every student is speaking. And this is, I think, true value of technology, right? Because it's helping teacher do something she couldn't have done otherwise. I mean, there's no way teacher in a class of 40 students in 1 hour can make 40 students speak. It's impossible, right? Except through technology. And technology is helping the teacher do that. So I believe our technology is empowering the teacher. We are not for the self-study model. We don't believe that the students will download applications and study, right? We believe there needs to be a teacher, and we believe the teacher has to be fully empowered and fully enabled to able to conduct a good and effective class. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Agarwal? Thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal. Our next speaker is Madam Rubina Bai Dalal, Head Operations Station E Services.
Good evening, one and all. Today I am really excited to interact with intellectual and academic audience. Myself, Robina Dalal, representing Stationy Info Services Private Limited, Gujarat. From 2 days, we are discussing continuously on technology, on employability, on skills. So, I feel that you will really agree with the statement where it is said that in the 21st century, everyone in the world can compete on an equal footing with everyone else. Therefore, the difference between success and failure will be the ability to communicate and to understand. There is a huge difference between the industry's requirement and the youth's education. We are always focusing on higher education, or the students after 10th or 12th or after completing the college, they are realizing that skill is very much important. But why not to inject this skill the school level itself? Because schools are the spinal cord of education. If we want to improve education, we should improve it from the school level itself, because this is where we can reform each and everything. And the language habits of a learner are the best formed at the school level only. We are always focusing in the schools with our curriculums, with our deadlines. We are always with the syllabus completion. But we are not giving chance to the students to speak. We are not giving that freedom, and at the same time, I think that we don't have that much time also. So, it is too late when we realize that the skills are very, very important, and which really they are lacking. It is too late when the students are realizing, it is too late when the teachers are realizing, it is too late when the management is realizing. So, this is today all the teachers, all the managements and the government should take a decision why not to inject these different skills, why not to give more focus on communicative English from the school level itself. I'd like to mention that here, that the best education system is of Finland, Singapore and South Korea. There is no doubt in it. Since last 10 years, Finland is into best education. The question was asked to Finland that from last 10 years you are so much ahead, you have put back the US also. So now what next? The question was asked to Finland. The answer was, we are now going to focus on skills, which is very, very necessary. Quality of higher education and skilled workforce that economy requires is determined by the quality of school pass-outs entering the higher education. When they are entering the higher education, what is reflected? The school education. If it is injected, the skills are injected from the schools, the higher education. In higher education, obviously, they will be the brighter students. In short, schools are the foundation of our nation's prosperity and development. School education has found it difficult to keep pace with the fast changing world. As I said that school education is so tricky that the US also lags behind and is rated average in the international rankings compared to Finland and Singapore. There are many lessons to be learned from the great school systems of the world. Finland and Singapore spend half of their energy in teaching right skills and competencies like language skills, which we are not focusing right now. They ensure that each student is equipped with the best of competencies or on par with the cream of the student. They ensure the complete customization of education, where we are very much afraid of customization. Where in the morning, in the one session, it was said that we are not ready for a change. We are not ready for the customizations. We take too long time for the customization, and the time when we realize for the customization, the next stage has come down. I would like to quote something from NSBC India. I wish that you also visit this site, and it is said by Dilip Chinoy that current studies indicate that net enrollment in vocational courses in India is about 5.5 million per year compared to 90 million in China and 11.3 million in the US. A mere 2% of Indian workers are formally skilled. Significantly, the bulk of the labor force in India, about 93% who work in the unorganized sector, are largely untouched by any kind of formal training. By way of comparison, 96% of the workers in South Korea receive formal skills training. This is 80% in Japan, 75% in Germany, and 68% in the United Kingdom. And we are continuously interacting with Dilip Chinoy, and we are working out on it that how can we inject these skills. NSBC was also set up to enable skills related training through its private sector partners with the intention of skilling 150 million people by 2022 to contribute to the Prime Minister's vision of skilling 500 million Indians. Now, the scenario of Indian school education. In rural India, language skills are on the way. Across the country, in reading and comprehension, in class 6, only 30% students can read simple sentences. In class 7, this person goes to 39, and in class 8, it goes to 47 only. More than 50% students in school cannot read and understand English sentences. This is ESSER report. I wish you visit this site also. In this sort of dire scenario, students who graduate to higher education without basic reading and language skills go through elimination. These students are those who never be able to be a part of mainstream and will drop out at first opportunity only. We are always talking about 100% placements or giving placements, but are we training them? Are we giving them live activities? We should just right away think over this. Are we giving them the training on interview skills or group discussions? Many of the students who make the mainstream are of poor quality. It will mean the introduction of pilot projects from 6th standard to 11th standard, excluding the board exams. Seeing the scenario of school, we have 70 sessions per class, 45 minutes considering. What will be the benefits to the students? Students have good subject knowledge, but soft skills are a problem. With soft skills, they can lead more empowered careers, will be equipped with the 21st century. Skills training, not a choice, but a compulsion. Students do not need it. They can not carry out their work without it. The students badly require skills training for the 21st century. It is now clear that for robust economic growth, the world needs human capital to meet the challenges. This is the stationing language lab. If we call it as ICT enabled skills development center cum digital language lab, where we teach through scientific way to learn and experiment. We teach language and different soft skills and life skills through natural way. We're taking the example of a newborn child that through listening and speaking he or she starts speaking. So the same way here we do the listening and speaking practice a lot. We started our journey from 2005, and our group is of academicians. And unique example, it is a unique example of man and machine. It's an enabled audio-visual studio cum theatre, engineered with world-class technological high-tech operations. Scientific mode of learning is we have prepared the modules at macro and micro levels. Mostly the 50% sessions are activity-based sessions like role play, storytelling, things around us, where the students come in front and they perform the activities. We focus on LSRW, and the sessions are into interactive mode. We give lot of practice for the students, where we give space to the students to speak a lot. We are having our own content development department, where we customize the courses as per the requirement of the organizations. Our team is constantly working on it. We have national and international academicians team. Our courses, we are having different courses from school level, communicative English, different levels. Professional course, we have courses for housewives, IELTS, call center trainings, different soft skills, life skills. 20 different skills are there, like presentation skills, body language, As I said, from 6th standard to 11th standard, we are having the different modules. Each module, for standard-wise, 45 minutes, 70 sessions are there, which can be injected from 6th standard. So this is the pure digital language lab where we are establishing in different schools, colleges and university levels. Apart from that, we are giving franchises also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Please welcome Shri Karan Singh Pannu, Director General, School Education, Punjab. He is with us. Can we have a round of applause for him? Our next speaker is Dr. Neelam Gulati Sharma. She is the Additional Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I just got this information that I have to come and speak to you all. The invitation was meant for my executive director, but incidentally she was busy and she says, I have a lot of experience of working with you all in the state of Punjab, many of you, and therefore I decided to come up. I have been looking after science popularization for the last 22 years or a little more. Join ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਅਸਾਈਨਮੈਂਟ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਸੀ by my director was ਕਿ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸਰਵੇ ਕਰੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦਾ what is the situation, which I did long back. Mathematics and science were a matter of concern. वो सिर्फ ਸਾਡੇ ही state 'ਚ नहीं है. It is true for other states as well. Basic sciences, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ. ਅਸੀਂ engineering, medical, as Praveen Malhotra said, yes, we are going towards them. Career counseling is one. ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ programs, motivation ਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਈ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਨੇ participate ਕਰਿਆ ਹੋਏਗਾ time and again. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ talented schools ਨੂੰ motivate ਕਰਨੇ ਆ through our programs of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. बहुत सारे schools ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੋਪਿਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ programs ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ through ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ improved teaching ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ. The teacher is trying to do his or her bit, but we need much more. Na ta language ch sada bacha acha hai, whether it is Punjabi or English. Na mathematics ch acha hai, even a decimal is not clear. The basics we will not look into. How will we improve the higher education? It is a big matter of concern. She says we're getting so many engineers. और किन्ने दे थानू engineer मिल जांदा 2500 ते भी मिल जांदा. Isn't it too much for the parent and the child both to know this at a stage when he has already done his education? It is good. मैं भी कई बारी पढ़ती हूँ IIT के graduate ने किताब लिखी because ਉਹਦੇ ਚੋਂ ਸੀਗਾ potential. He is good in a language and he could do it. That's wonderful. पर वो बच्चा ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਬੜੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਤਾ the whole thing is over for you. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ what are we looking up for a society? ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ society ਸਾਡੀ ਬਣੇਗੀ? Will it not be a chaos in the society? We badly need to look into this. And I feel skilling the students is very important. You can give them as many gadgets. We also do that with our children. And of course, as a parent or a teacher, you should also monitor what your child is doing. But at the same time, I still feel we should be skilling our teachers. Teachers are voracious learners. बहुत जल्दी पिकअप करते हैं. मैंने बहुत सारे टीचर्स नाल काम करने का मौका मिला. हुण भी एक मैथमेटिक्स की ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम साडा चल रहा है in all the districts, which we are doing with the help of the School Education Board. एक थोड़े चो एक लाइफ बंडू टीचर असी लभ्या जिन्हें थ्योरम्स कीतियां, उस तो बाद उन्होंने पेटेंट भी असी करवाया थ्रू आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. And now he is trying to give this information to the various districts. We have wonderful students. ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ program science city ਨਾਲ innovation ਤੇ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ. And I tell you, this is something to be noted कि इस वक्त innovation ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ as compared to our urban child, because the urban child is totally dedicated to the net. Cut, copy, paste का culture बहुत ਵੱਧ ਰਿਹਾ है. ਉਹ actual ਜਿਹੜੀ thinking है वो नहीं करते. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ फटाफट करो and the project is ready. The parents are proud. Oh ji dekho ne घंटे च करता. What was the originality of the project? That needs to be seen. ਅਸੀਂ teachers ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ problems ਸਮਝੀਆਂ. They have their hands are full. We give many programs to the district science supervisors also with the help of education department. We are doing Children's Science Congress. ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੱਚਾ comes up with a beautiful presentation and is selected for the national level, and the best project goes to him. So there is no dearth of children, whether it is a rural area or an urban area. सिर्फ channelize करने की ज़रूरत है. जे teachers मिल के एक काम करन, I know there are very many like-minded. मैं आप identify कर चुकी हूँ. The only thing is we need to give them time, we need to give them space, and as has been mentioned, 21st century the education यही है that you have to learn, and a very important thing, unlearn and then relearn. If you do that, I am sure you can do wonders with your children. साढ़े बच्चियाँ किसी किस्म की कोई कमी नहीं है. They are very good in technology. Only thing is we need to bring those ideas out with them. ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਫਿਰ skilling करनी है, साढ़े सेक्रेटरी साहब ने कहा भी कोई project दे. The first thing I mentioned was we need to do skilling of our teachers. Now how do we do the skilling? Science and maths वास्ते I always feel ਸਾਨੂੰ hands-on training मिलनी चाहिए. ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ informally we do training programs with the help of Department of Science and Technology for biology, for physics, for chemistry. But ਹੁਣ मैं सोच रही ਹਾਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ let us link with your curriculum so that ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਲੱਗੇ that you can use these activities. Recently I was in Allahabad, ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ Goa ਦੀ university ਦਾ teacher ਆਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ who is doing experiments on chemistry, and he has agreed to link those experiments with your curriculum. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਨੋਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ exercise or demonstration ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਦੰਗ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ equipment ਨੂੰ distillation ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ reduce ਕਰਤਾ that it cuts down to 1/3 of the cost, and the waste which was generated was just 1/4 of the beaker. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਸੁੱਟਣਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ treat ਕਰਨਾ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਘੱਟ ਜਾਏਗੀ ਉਹਦੀ cost. So those are the things which need to be worked on. ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ joy of learning ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਔਰ teachers ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ potential ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ. You need to join hands. You need to really impress upon the child, and the child can do wonders. You need to be a mentor. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ design ਕਰਨਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ package ਕਰਨਾ, that's very important. Because I have seen she may be saying anything. Career counseling, guidance, they're very important. But ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਛਾ teacher right in the beginning ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, then you won't say mathematics is tough or biology is tough. And nowadays you have lots of linkages. Biology का maths करना, bioinformatics करनी है, biotechnology करनी है. But the only thing is proper surveys. Proper surveys need to be done. A wonderful thing she gave, my previous co-speaker said, vocational training साढ़े चैनी घट ते China च क्यों ज़्यादा. साड़ी problem है we have not been able to identify किस vocational training देने, उसके बाद कितनी employment है. We need to see first before starting a course क्योंकि market demand कितनी है. How much is it market driven? Then go into it. We are having problems. We don't have people who are trained plumbers. कुछ भी करके चले जाते हैं थोड़े घर. You get plumbers for 7,000, you get for 20,000 and 40,000 as well. The only thing is they are not properly trained. Those sorts of trainings with the stand will really improve, and I think those sorts of vocational trainings are required. The उन्होंने एक गल की मेरे तो पहला कि एक्सीलेंटली बच्चों को बोलन की होनी चाहिए स्किल, आई एग्री, पर इफ वी शुड नॉट डिस्करेज एनी चाइल्ड, जो उन्हें पंजाबी बोलने का मौका दिता जाए एंड ही कम्स आउट विद द कंटेंट, आई थिंक इट्स इक्वली गुड. So let us give a platform to the teachers. I would request everybody to go up. And the first thing for the teacher should be his teaching. Baki sare kam, they are important, I know. You have to do many other things, but don't give it a back seat. Pehli importance, apni teaching nu jo hoegi. And if you form a group of like-minded teachers, say, you decide on the curriculum, you decide the continuity, whether the 9th goes with the 10th, you decide how it is to be done, what experiments are to be initiated, and please give them hands-on experience. I tell you, किसी प्रोग्राम च जाइए, भावें इहदे बाल विकास फॉर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, भावें इहदे बाल श्री अवार्ड्स ने, साडे बच्चे जिहड़े पंजाब दे ने, दे आर नॉट डूइंग एनी एक्टिविटीज हैंड्स ऑन तो ऐ भजते हैं जिवें उन्होंने पता नहीं की कहता है, रोट लर्निंग फटाफट आके तो बोल देंगे. एंड दैट इज द रीजन दैट वी आर लैगिंग बिहाइंड. गिव देम लॉट्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस ऑन हैंड्स ऑन एक्टिविटीज. एंड आई टेल यू, द थिंग इज, वी सीन मैनी पीपल, आई हैव हैड मैनी पीपल हु हैव गिवन दीज ट्रेनिंग्स टू आवर टीचर्स. वो कोर्स जो तुसीं 1.5-2 घंटिया अपनी क्लास में पढ़ाते हो, कई भी टीचर कहेंगे कि वो पढ़ाने टाइम ज़्यादा चला गया. इट्स नॉट सो. वो जी डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन तुसीं देंदे हो, दैट टेक्स यू हार्डली 10-15 minutes and the concept gets clear. So I feel that we badly need to look into the training of teachers, skilling our teachers, and yes, then you can think of improving science and mathematics. I will not take much of your time. I know she's there, and as it is, I'm the last speaker. I purposely didn't make a presentation also, I was not asked to, but now I feel I would like to share one thing with you. ਅਸੀਂ training program ਕੀਤਾ school teachers ਵਾਸਤੇ, rural schools ਵਾਸਤੇ, and we got one for Punjab. 10 schools were selected from Ludhiana, 10 from Patiala, and 10 from Amritsar. Of course, then Taran was a part of it. I still remember ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ DST ਦੀ demand ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੀ training program ਨੂੰ record ਕਰਾਂਗੇ. And the video cameras were placed all over. Then the feedback came after 3 days. और rural जेडे teachers सीगे, उन्होंने वो record करवाया, which we gave it to the DST also. वो कहते फिर ऐसी presentation जेडी करती थी ना, इन्हें घरे ही दे देना सी. We would have seen it at home. Why did you call us? So one-to-one interaction is very important, and the teacher has a very important role for that. I think it's high time we need a change before it gets too late. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam Daya. This brings to the end of the 2-day conference. Now, may I request Shri Kahan Singh Pannu, Director General School Education, to give away the mementos to all the speakers of the session. Can we put our hands together for all the speakers once again? Mr. Vivek Agarwal, CEO, Liquid. Madam Rubina Y. Dalal, Head Operator, Station E Info Services. Dr. Jessie Abraham, Associate Professor, Department of Teachers and Non-Formal Education, Jamia Millia Islamia. She is just late because she was running late. So we have Dr. Neelam Gulati Sharma, Additional Director, Punjab State Council for Science and Technology. Thank you so much, Madam, for your